Hello to you. Suzanne Stell, Executive Director, and we are so glad you're with us today in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. We appreciate you joining us to hear all about the information that we have to share with you today. We hope your family has had time to renew and refresh this summer. We hope you're staying well, that's for sure. We definitely miss you. There is no doubt. We miss your children very much. We're so ready to see everyone. For you to know, we've been working. We've got administrators, teachers, everyone's been working since March 12th, even during spring break until now, and we're continuing to work. So please know you've got a team behind you. We are a team. We can't say thank you enough to you as our partner in the middle of all of this. You've been our partner since March 12th. You've done an amazing job. Your support has meant the world to us at Shelton. As you know, all of this is ever changing, dynamic. So what you see today is ever changing, dynamic, and could change more. This time last week, our slide looked different from the beginning. New information came out on Thursday. Our slide looks different today. But as I'm talking to you right now, we anticipate more information coming out about private schools. So please know our slide could change in 24 hours. But we want you to know what we're thinking, what our tentative plans are, and what we're excited about. First of all, I want to introduce who you will be hearing from today. You will also be hearing from our head of school, Jenny Cheatham. She's with us. You will be hearing from our technology integration specialist, Chris Brindell. Chris is with us. You will be hearing from our nurse, Eve Herman. She's definitely been busy, no doubt. Eve, there you go. You will also be hearing from our assistant head of middle school and our associate head of school as our moderator for questions, Melanie Barnett. Thank you, Melanie. Amy Kelton, head of our upper elementary and associate head of school, is with us also today. And then we also have Will Matthews and Zach Ladd as a part of our high school. So we thank them for their work also. So before we get started, we want you to know how to ask questions. So we would like you to type in your questions, and then we will have time at the end to answer as many as we can. And Chris, can you tell them any other information about questions?
Depending on how you are connecting to today's webinar, if you are on a mobile app, then in the top right-hand corner, likely you should see a Q&A button. Tap on that and you can send a question to our panelists. If you are on a computer, then down at the lower bottom bar, you should be able to see the Q&A button down there.
Thank you, Chris. And we appreciate you asking questions. That's why we're doing all this, so that you know the information and that you can get questions answered. I also want to say a special welcome to our new families. Welcome in the middle of all of this. We're thrilled you're with us, and we know it's a hard age to join in the high school, but I would tell you in this day and time, this is one positive of having a high school age student, parents, because your students can learn and pay attention online a little bit more than 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. So there is an advantage to that. We know we want our students on campus, face-to-face instruction. We know they learn better, that's for sure, and that's our ultimate goal. Okay, we heard from you. Parent survey, you did fantastic. This is how we developed our PowerPoint today, is the questions that you already have and you shared with us, and also any suggestions or concerns you had. Fantastic response. I want my child to attend school on campus, 86%, 14% would like the choice at home learning. We know that we did this survey in the middle of a surge, which we know that, so we did that for that reason. We will be doing another survey for you to know, August 3rd week. We asked you to tell us with the information you had at hand then what you were thinking. So this helped us in our planning purposes very much, but you're going to get another chance to answer a survey August 3rd week. So we definitely need your participation when we send it out, just like this one. It helps us with everything. Draft possibilities, for starting school. This is what everybody wants to know. We sent out our document in July that you saw what we were thinking then. At this point, what are we continuing to think? Draft form. August 24th week, we would love to have small groups of students and parents touring our campus. You will see construction and governmental agencies permitting, of course. We would be very excited to do small tours, small group tours. We would have a tour guide for each family and their child. We have it all planned out in detail where we can spread out over multiple days, multiple divisions in a very detailed and safe way. We would do it by Sign Up Genius for families. So, and we will confirm with you if we can do that in the next several weeks. If we can't, you know it, we've done it, drive through, pick up supplies, and for laptops, virtual Meet the Advisor and virtual tour. What we're looking at this moment in time is Shelton at Home Learning from August 26th to September 4th. September 8th through September 18th, we would like a safe. Our intent is to have a safe and careful start to school. We know how important it is for our EC through 5th graders to be on campus. So we will be having them on campus every day, but our 6th through 12th graders will be on a hybrid schedule for a couple of weeks to get our feet on the ground and to do it in a safe and thoughtful way so that we can go over all the protocols with our students, the health reasons with our students, why we're doing certain things, and we can spread out our students even more. 9th through 12th graders will be on an every other week basis, and Jenny Cheatham will go over that more with you at the end. For you to know, our 6th through 8th grade hybrid schedule will be, we know we need to see our middle schoolers every week. And so theirs is where 6th grade is 4 days a week and the other 2 are 3 days a week and then virtual. So hybrid means on campus learning, face-to-face, and also remote. We are hoping, our intent, September 21st, that we can have Shelton on campus. We can have everyone. We may still have to do staggered starts, staggered exits, because we're on a new campus too. So we may be asking for help in those areas for sure if we can start all back on campus September 21st, or we may have to go hybrid a little longer. But this is what our intent is as we speak today with the information we have. The learning plans that you've heard about, Shelton on campus, that's all of us on campus, Shelton at home, virtual learning, and our Shelton hybrid, which is alternating the days on campus and days at home. We are very fortunate at Shelton to be able to offer these platforms and these different ways of learning. We heard you on your surveys, parent feedback. We needed a consistent platform, simplify our communication, consistent time with teachers, and definitely more time for the emotional and social support of our students. We have looked at all that. For you to know, we've got task force and different committees that have been working since March 12th. They're still working to this day on all of these areas. We also are fortunate that we have new technology for our classrooms, thanks to the Moody Foundation, a generous grant to us that we will be able to supply all of our classrooms with cameras in them so that our students can live stream with our classes and with the students on campus. And Chris is going to go over some more information about that with you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Chris Brindell. I'm part of the technology department, and we are going to talk about some of the platforms and technology that Suzanne just mentioned regarding our 9th through 12th graders. So most students by this point have had experience with Google Classroom. And so starting off this new year, we will have every teacher using Google Classroom. For those that are not familiar with Google Classroom, it becomes your students' learning hub. It's where all the assignments are posted, tests, notes, any announcements the teacher might have, as well as we'll talk about in a moment, video conferencing. So the additional benefit of Google Classroom is that when a teacher assigns work, then uses a due date, it will automatically post to Google Calendar. So the Google Calendar will become our default de facto homework calendar now. So we're moving away from Final Site and starting to use Google Calendar. With Google Classroom, it is accessible from any internet connected device. There are some great apps for both iOS and Android, and depending on your family's availability, having a tablet is a great way, supplemental piece of technology to have, in addition to the school-issued MacBook Air. So Zoom and Google Meet, this has been a very big discussion within Shelton. Currently, our plan is that by November 30th, teachers will move exclusively over to Google Meet. If any teachers were using Zoom, they will be permitted to continue to use Zoom until that planned date of November 30th. We are hoping that by November 30th, Google will be introducing additional features to better align and compete with Zoom. And so again, hopefully by November 30th, when we return from Thanksgiving, teachers will begin to move exclusively over to Google Meet. Regardless of what platform they are using for video conferencing to start off the year, all links for Google Meet and Zoom will be posted in Google Classroom. So we're not going to be posting them on the calendar. We're not going to be sending out emails. It is going to be in one place, which will be Google Classroom. As Suzanne mentioned, we received a very generous grant from the Moody Foundation, which has enabled us to purchase an iPad for every instructional teacher, EC through 12th. What this is going to allow is for teachers, maybe in a science class, to be able to use the iPad with a stand to showcase and live stream labs, demos. English teachers will be able to use it as a document camera to show literature, poems. And then the iPad can also be used for one-on-one and small group instruction for students that are learning at home. In addition to the iPad, every class, 9 through 12, will also have a Mevo Start camera. Mevo Start camera allows you to live stream to platforms such as YouTube. And to start off the year, we are going to have these cameras live streamed to an unlisted teacher YouTube channel. The teacher will share the link for this channel through Google Classroom, and students that happen to be at home will be able to open up that channel and click on that day's video feed and be able to watch in real time the lessons that are occurring within the classroom. Mevo has announced that they are planning integration with both Zoom and Google Meet, and they have said that by the end of this summer, which could be as late as September 23rd, but that by the end of this summer, that integration piece will be activated, and that would allow our teachers to then use the camera to connect with our students through Google Meet or Zoom and give us that one-on-one interaction piece. With the YouTube live stream, videos will not be searchable. Streams and videos will not be searchable. Students' faces will not be on camera. The camera is going to be positioned in a way that at most, the back of a student's head would be on film. But otherwise, there will be no faces, and teachers will do their best to prevent students from being in the video at all. These videos will then also be available for on-demand access for students for reviewing, reteaching, or even tutoring purposes. Next up is a short video kind of highlighting some of the features of the Mevo camera. So new this year, we are going to be offering parent trainings. These will be offered through a webinar format, very similar to what we're doing today. Webinars will also be recorded and made available online. And I will have already, but will continue to create support documentation for both parents and students. We have two QR codes here, which if you have a mobile device, you can use to scan. The first one is to sign up and register for any of these webinars. The second one is where the videos and support documentations will be located on the TechEd website. These links will be made available after our session today, along with this presentation. So if you do not have an opportunity to get onto these sites right now, you'll have an opportunity later on. So the topics that we will be discussing, I'll just talk about Google Classroom and Google Suite. So Google Classroom is going to be an overview for parents to be able to see exactly what Google Classroom is, how it works, and kind of the ins and outs of that to better help you guide your students if they encounter any issues. So Tuesday, August 4th from 12 to 1, as well as 7 to 8 p.m. Thursday, August 6th. And on Google Suite Overview is going to cover Google Drive, Google Calendar, Docs, Slides, and kind of go a little very broad, very surface on a lot of the other Google Suite applications that are available. So 3 offerings on Monday, 1 on Monday, and then 2 on Wednesday. So again, these links will be made available after the town hall so that you can sign up for those at a later time if you would like. And I will now pass it back over to Suzanne.
Thank you, Chris, for all of the information. We appreciate what our tech group has done, that is for sure. They have been very busy and they're an incredible group of people to work with too. Now for our procedures for health and safety. A question that you might have from what Chris said and what I said is, if I choose distance learning or stay at home for my child and I change my mind, what happens? Guess what? You can change your mind if you choose that way. All we're asking our families is to give us a 1-week notice, so that, especially in the high school, so that we can have the lab materials ready for science class, all books ready, all supplies ready. So we're very fortunate that we can have a fluid and flexible situation. So we're just asking our parents for that 1-week notice if you do choose that way for your child at home. We get it. Things change in our environment, things change in our community, and a child may change their mind, or a family may change their mind. So we are all for that, that's for sure. Health and safety is our #1 priority with our children, your family, and our staff. We have to be very aware of that as we are trying to be very proactive in allowing you a high quality educational plan. So please know we're always trying to balance the educational plan with the safety and health and wellness of our students and our staff. We sent out information, detailed information in July. We won't go back over all that. It's on our website, but we'll hit some of the key points this morning, or I should say this afternoon. Health and safety. #1, we're very fortunate. We're going to be on a new campus with lots of space, 30 acres. Believe it or not, 7.5 acres of building space. Shelton is already a small student-teacher ratio. 1 to 6 is average, 10 is average in a class. So all of the 6 feet that we can provide is everywhere, which we're very fortunate about that. I don't know if you know that it's 45 square feet per child is what's recommended. Now the American Academy of Pediatricians says it can be 3 to 6 feet with the proper protocols in place, but we're trying to do 6 feet everywhere, still with the proper protocols. So we're excited about that. Another thing is we were already building isolation rooms in the clinic. We definitely need those. We're going to have outdoor hand washing stations for our students. For the high school area, we're going to do performing arts and different things outside to start the year off, especially in the choir area and the band area. And some of the other arts, because we know how important the electives are to our students. So we have lots of space. We'll put up some tents, do that with our kids. They'll be thrilled. Anyway, you can read everything else. Physical distancing, I just talked about it. We also have 125 academic classrooms. That does not include our fine arts area. That does not include any of our common areas, and we'll be spreading out to all those areas. For you to know, and this especially has to do with our younger students, but it's fun for our high school parents to know this. Our furniture design team has worked with us for our little ones. You can imagine 6 feet to them, 3, 4, and 5, and 6-year-olds. That doesn't make any sense to them. So we have work areas for them. And so the furniture is going to be designed so that they know their work area. It's going to help them out. Our high schoolers, I know you see them every day. They're all with their friends. They're having fun in the afternoons. I mean, they're teenagers, but we also know that they'll be able to follow these protocols much more because of their age. And we're also going to educate them on the safety and doing all this for the well-being of our teachers. That's very important. And you can imagine the comfort level of everyone involved, and even from our students. So believe me, we will work with them on that. Mask and face shields, big topic. Yes, we're requiring them 1st through 12th grade. Yes, whenever we can socially distance and whenever they're outside and we feel comfortable with it, we are going to give them mask breaks. We get it. We watch our adults right now struggling with this sometimes, and our teachers struggling with this sometimes. But when we cannot socially distance and we're in the classroom and different situations come up, we absolutely are requiring the mask. We realize we have students that have some developmental and sensory challenges. We'll work with them. Again, this is when it's good to have a high school student. A lot of times they'll go with us on all this. I know a lot of them are wearing the gaiters right now, and Eve will talk about that. At this point, no one in the medical field is recommending them, and the Dallas County Health Department's not recommending them. However, like I told Eve, I bet there are people right now making them to where they'll recommend them. So at this point, we're providing cloth masks, we're providing a face shield. We think some of them will like that better. We're also allowing our students to figure out what mask is more comfortable to them. As you know, parents, we all have a favorite mask at this time, and the comfort level for our students is very important. Yes, our school store will be selling them, but at this point, we want you to go ahead and order them and have them ready so that they can have a new one every day, because they've got to be clean and ready to go. We put a link on our protocol that we sent out in July, and that's for all ages too. We'll have extras available, believe me. Screenings. We definitely will be asking you to do a screening. This is where we need your partnership more than ever with all of our families in the Shelton community. If everyone will do this and help us, this will be a tremendous part of keeping our kids in school. Temperature checks. This is one thing that there is consensus about in the medical field and with every governmental agency out there. They feel like the temperature checks give a false sense of security, and especially for high school age when they're on Tylenol or Advil and different things like that. However, I will tell you, we're still considering it, and we're talking about it and even getting more information. So we'll let you know about that. But definitely the partnership with you as a family will be so important with monitoring your own child. We do have an app we're finalizing today or tomorrow, to be exact, and it'll be much easier for parents to use. Visitors on campus, definitely will have essential visitors will be allowed, but at the beginning of our school, we don't know how long, we will be limiting visitors. There's no doubt. Carpool, we're asking people to stay in cars. Many of your students drive, so that will be a different situation. The ones who don't, please stay in your car. Notice for appointments, and this happens in high school, that's for sure. If you'll please give us a 24-hour notice so that we know, because we will have staff involved in all of this. All of these protocols are staff intensive, so the more notice we know, it helps us. Cleaning and ventilation, we're very fortunate. Almost 100% of our air conditioning system is all new. Of course, we have lots of space for outdoor classes, and our filters are MERV 13. EPA recommends for a school MERV 8. And a lot of those places where there's a MERV 13 filter, we also have a pre-filter. So we're very fortunate about that. The next grade level is hospital. So this is the part of being very fortunate with the new campus. Video security. You heard from Chris about our new cameras in the classroom for the academic reasons. We also have a whole new video security system. And when I talked with our team of engineers with the video security system, I asked about this and they said, absolutely. Some schools are buying these cameras just for the contact tracing. We're very fortunate because we're having the cameras for being proactive in security, but they will also help us in the contact tracing, and also occupancy counting technology will be on it. What that means is we can figure out where the high traffic areas will be in our building, and also the high touch areas to clean more. A child is diagnosed with COVID. We know the child. We can put a search on to know exactly where that child's been over a period of time, wherever these cameras are, inside and outside. That's powerful in our mind with us going forward with in the middle of this pandemic. So we're very excited that these cameras can help us with this. Now it's Eve. Take over, Eve.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Eve Herman. I am the coordinator for health services. Lisa Nagid, the nurse that works with me, and I will be working very hard to help keep everybody safe this upcoming school year. There are many challenges, as you can all imagine and know. This first slide, this first slide is a decision tree that came from the Dallas County Department of Health. I was just on a call with them yesterday, and they're actually going to be putting out a new decision tree in the next coming days. So this will be a little bit outdated, but we will certainly have the newer one available to you once I get it. But the basic tenets will remain the same, and I'll review those quickly. There have been a lot of emails and texts to me with confusion about the 10 days versus the 14 days. So I just want to try to clarify that a little bit. On the left-hand side is if you or your child or the staff member has confirmed COVID-19, either by symptoms or by lab tests. As you've, I'm sure, heard, right now it's taking a long time to get the lab results back. So they're going by symptoms. You will isolate at home until the following 3 conditions have met. The one change, the CDC just came out this week with a change in that it's, instead of 72 hours fever-free, it's now 24 hours fever-free. And you have to have been at least 10 days from either the onset of symptoms or the test, the date of the testing, not the date that you get the result back, and improvement in symptoms. And you can, people can return to school when all 3 of those are met. Now, if your child or you or anyone was tested because of a close contact and you come back positive, then you only need to be out the 10 days unless you develop symptoms. Now, if you are a close contact, that is on the right side, you will need to quarantine at home for 14 days from the time of your exposure, the exposure to the person that is positive. So as some people have asked why 10 days versus 14 days, the science seems to indicate that you are actually contagious for a couple of days before you show symptoms. And the incubation period is 2 to 14 days. So that's where the 14 and the 10 come through. The symptoms of COVID, hopefully you're all familiar with these by now. Cough, headache, sudden loss of taste and smell, shortness of breath, significant muscle pain, not just I went and exercised yesterday for the first time in 3 months and I'm sore. This is pretty significant muscle pain, sore throat, diarrhea, chills, or fever temperature over 100 degrees. As you can see, a lot of these symptoms are the same symptoms for a lot of other conditions, allergies. A lot of people in Dallas suffer from allergies, strep throat, lots of different things. So you please be patient with us and understanding with us, because we will be erring on the side of caution and probably sending home lots of students with some of these symptoms because we just don't want to take a chance. Next slide, Chris. So with that in mind, we do know that, I know that high school students are my top visitors to the clinic in the years past. We do know kids have migraines. As I said, we do know kids have allergies. We will And I know that for the returning students, I know the students pretty well. But again, I will be erring on the side of caution. So I may be sending your kids home. If your child is sent home or you keep them home because they are ill, and we ask that you take them to see your healthcare provider, either virtually or in person. And if that person decides that it is not COVID, if the healthcare provider decides it's not COVID, and that they should be able to come back to school, we require some kind of written notification. It can be email, it can be fax, it can be, those would be the two main ways. But we do need a note from the doctor. If your child does not see a healthcare provider and we sent them home with COVID symptoms, they'll still need to meet the same criteria that we discussed in the slide before. There's been some confusion over the months about how a close contact is defined. As with lots of the other things, things change and have changed. For example, the 24 and 72-hour rule. But for right now, the definition of a close contact is being within 6 feet of a confirmed case of COVID for at least 15 minutes or more. There are some documents that say with a mask or without a mask. The Department of Health has said it doesn't matter whether you're wearing a mask or not. If you've been within 6 feet for more than 15 minutes, you're considered a close contact. If a student is a close contact, they must quarantine at home for 14 days. If a student comes down with COVID at school, we will be determining the close contact. High school is going to be a little bit easier because they're better rule followers as far as staying in their desks. We will only be quarantining those students that have been determined to be within the 6 feet for more than 15 minutes. And that's over the full day. That's not just in that one class period. Per the Texas Education Agency, we will be keeping a log of what positive cases we have at school. We will have a site on our Shelton website that is password protected, where you can go at any time to look to see the number of cases of staff and students. We will be keeping that updated. As I said, if anyone is identified as a close contact, of course you will be notified. We will also be notifying everyone in that child's classes. And if you choose to keep your child home, even though they are not considered a close contact, obviously you can do that. And of course, we will not be putting out names of anyone that is positive. We will just be telling you someone in your class, your child's class. I think that's it for that slide. I have gotten a few emails and questions about travel. If you travel within the United States, your child will not need to quarantine. But if you do travel outside of the United States, you will need to quarantine for 14 days. And I'm gonna turn it back over to Suzanne.
Thank you, Eve, very much. And thank you for all your work since March. That's for sure too. Attendance, we're going to be asking you in the high school to please use this contact as our any symptoms, any sickness, anything going on with your child that has to do with COVID, virus, symptoms, strep throat, bronchitis, whatever it might be. We would love it in writing this year. I know many of you call or do text or do it to the advisor, which is all still fine. But if you will please, we would like a central location for all this. And then it's gonna set our systems up so that we make sure we're on top of all of this. Then Eve will be notified of every single child, even Lisa, they will know when to make a phone call, because once we know all of this, you can imagine we have to put the 10 days in notice. We have to put the 14 days in notice. And some of you may have that question about the 2 negative tests that's kind of standard for a lot of people, that a lot of people are using for their child to come back or businesses to come back. The reason we're not doing that is we were advised not to do that by our medical council, and we totally get it. We would rather go by err on the side of caution and go by time than someone being diagnosed with COVID and all of a sudden finding a testing center that can do 2 negative tests within 24 hours, and then we have to be the judge of the testing site. We don't want to be put in that place. We would rather err on the side of caution and go over time, and not go by where the test is coming from. So anyway, but this attendance will help us very much, and we appreciate you going by this. And of course, you don't have to remember anything today. It will all be sent to you and told to you a million different ways so that we're all on the same page. Now we have some questions that came from your surveys as parents, and Jenny Cheatham will be covering these with you. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Suzanne. Absolutely glad to see everybody here on the call today. Thank you so very, very much for joining us. As Suzanne indicated at the start of this call, we certainly do have a team of administrators and teachers in the high school that are looking forward to the start of the school year and crossing fingers that we're going to be able to see each and every one of you very, very quickly. Zach Ladd is on the call and Will Matthews is on the call today. We also have hired, thank you, Zach, Will. We have also hired a counselor, guidance counselor. Carol Yardam, our beloved guidance counselor, has retired and moved to Austin. So we are so excited to introduce, and you will be personally meeting her at another meeting, but her name is Shelly Gloina. So we're thrilled to invite Shelly to join the high school administration, and I know that you all will appreciate working with her as well. So first, before we begin, I want to say thank you to all of you who have responded on the surveys that have been sent. Your responses and your feedback certainly are taken very carefully under consideration as we try to improve our virtual learning through the COVID situation. We appreciate also your grace and all of the compliments that you've extended to the high school in particular and to our teachers. I really appreciate that. They are certainly working hard and continue to do so, but your support as we move forward is critical. So thank you for that. A couple of points to review that Suzanne has already gone over. However, I did want to reiterate the mask requirement. Certainly, we want all of our kids to have a little bit of fun with the mask that they wear. However, we do ask that they are school appropriate, as we would with anything students wear to school. Did also want to remind you that our teachers will be wearing face shields. Some of them may be wearing masks, but we do know that our students learn best when they can see our face and see our mouth, especially as we're teaching. And so know that our teachers will be protected by using face shields. As Suzanne indicated, cleaning, of course, will be happening on a regular basis, sometimes even within the school day. And visitors, I wanted to touch on that. Our policy regarding visitors and limiting parent visitors, other guests in the building is certainly not in an effort to keep parents out, but it certainly is in an effort to keep our staff and our students safe. So we appreciate your cooperation with that and understanding. We're going to be certainly thrilled to have everybody in the building as quickly as we're able to. So thank you for that. Chris, next screen. Wanted to remind you of the schedules and the dates for the schedules. As Suzanne indicated, August 26th through the 4th will be Shelton at home. That means all students will be learning from home during this time period. September 8th through the 18th, we'll be going in the high school with the Shelton hybrid model. And I'm going to talk specifically about each one of these models, Shelton at home and Shelton hybrid. And then our anticipated date to return to campus with students, all students, hopefully cross fingers, will be September 21st. That may change. These dates, as Suzanne has indicated, are fluid, but I wanted to provide you with the dates in particular then and how those dates relate to which schedule will be followed. So thank you for paying attention to that, and all of this information will be made available to you in writing as well, so you can have that. Our first schedule that we will be having during the days of August 26th through September 4th is called a Shelton at home schedule. What the Shelton at home schedule for the high school will look like will be that we'll have an A day and a B day. Each A day will include class periods 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a B day will include periods 5, 6, 7, and 8. So whether it's an A day or a B day, our students will attend class daily, from 8:30 until 12:15. A days 1, 2, 3, and 4. B days periods 5, 6, 7, and 8. In each afternoon, whether it's an A day or a B day, each afternoon will include what's called charger time. And I have a visual to show you all this on the next slide. Each afternoon will be dedicated to charger time, which will include a 30-minute block of time per class period in the afternoon, specifically designed for students to meet with the teacher, to go over information, to review information, to get additional support, tutoring, as well as ask questions and spend a little bit more time in depth with teachers. What we learned from our experience in the spring was that we wanted to have a little bit more structure to our day and a little bit more time to meet with teachers, scheduled time to meet with teachers. So we've tried to make those adjustments. Know that advisory will continue in the high school. That will be each Wednesday afternoon at 4. And then teachers are also available daily from 4 to 4:30, with the exception, of course, of Wednesday for advisory. So here's a visual of this Shelton at-home schedule. I know it may be difficult to see on your screen. Wanted to remind you that you will receive a printed copy, or excuse me, not a printed copy, but this will be shared with you electronically. So as you can see, A days are blue and B days are colored yellow. Each class on an A day, 8:30 to 9:15 is first period, second period, third period, and fourth period. So again, students will begin the day at 8:30, end the day at 12:15 for specific class periods. Students will have from 12:15 to 1:15 for lunch. And then at 1:15 until 3:15, we have each one of our charger times per class period. So you've got first period class from 8:30 to 9:15. Then you've got first period charger time in the afternoon from 1:15 to 1:45. So each particular class will have a dedicated charger time in the afternoon for additional help. The B day is the same, with the exception that you'll be covering periods 5, 6, 7, and 8. And again, each class will have a 45-minute class period with a 30-minute afternoon session for review, tutoring, and time with the teacher. Those dates again are August 26th through September 4th. These are tentative dates. The next type of schedule will be what's called Shelton Hybrid in the high school. The tentative dates for this particular schedule are September 8th through the 18th. Basically, in a Shelton Hybrid model, students are split into 2 different cohorts. If the student's last name is A through L, they're in what's called the blue group or the blue cohort. Students with last name M through Z are in what's called a silver group or a silver cohort. So therefore, blue groups and silver groups of students will alternate weekly with on-campus learning and at-home learning. And we have a sample model of this particular schedule on the next slide. Here's your sample model. So theoretically, although that Monday, September 7th is Labor Day, our students will start with Tuesday the 8th through Friday with a blue week. So those kids will go to school. Blue kids, A through L, will go to school that first week, and our silver kids, M through Z, will go to school the following week. And should this need to continue at a reduced capacity, the hybrid model can continue further past September 18th. We certainly don't want it to, but we're in a position where we can certainly make that happen if we have to. So we wanted to explain that. So the next slide is we're going to start some questions. Okay, so thank you for your attention with our 2 schedules. All of this again will be provided to you. Common questions about returning to school. These are some of the questions, and again, parents, thank you. These are some of the things you mentioned to us in the survey previously. How will morning and afternoon arrival and dismissal be structured? We will not have large gathering spaces. As you all may know, our students have traditionally stayed in the commons area before school started. We're not able to do that. So upon arrival, students will be directed to a designated area. Depending on what time they arrive at school, that may change. So we're going to wait until we have more information from you regarding what time you expect your child to be at school. And we'll have more specific information closer to the time of the start of school. And the same thing applies in the afternoon. We'll dismiss students in small groups after 8th period. So more specific information will happen. The main thing we want you to know is that we'll be certainly doing this in smaller groups. Next question, how will passing periods be structured to alleviate group gatherings? So I'm sure, as you can imagine, students are anxious to get back to school and see one another, but we are going to stagger our passing periods so that we can reduce congestion and numbers in the hallways as well as the restrooms. Next slide. Lunch. This is always a popular time of day for kids, as you guys know, especially our high school kids. How will lunch be adjusted? Sage will be providing boxed lunches if that's what a child chooses, and or a plated option. Students are going to be assigned a specific location and we'll have them rotate. So they may be eating in classrooms, they may be eating in common areas in the dining hall. They also are able to potentially eat outside. So we're going to rotate that for our students so they're not sitting in the same location each time, and that there's a little bit of variety there. And of course, as usual, and as in the past, students are certainly welcome to bring their own lunch. They can certainly continue to do that. Next slide. Will virtual learning be an option for our families? May this decision be made on a day-to-day basis? Yes, virtual learning can be an option for your student for a period of time and or all semester. Anyone can decide and choose that option. However, it cannot be made on a day-to-day basis, only because we want to be prepared and to welcome your student upon return to the classroom. So we do expect, if you could, give us at least a week's notice so we can make arrangements to welcome your student back to campus. Also, please expect a survey on August 3rd to specifically indicate this preference. So we'll be looking forward to hearing from you. And the more parents that respond, we'll certainly be able to plan accordingly. So thank you for paying attention to that survey. Could the tentative scheduling plans in place from the 26th of August through September 18th be extended? Yes, this is a possibility, certainly not one that any of us are looking forward to or wanting. However, we are going to assess all of the information as it becomes available, and we can and will adjust the plans accordingly, and we appreciate your support. This is a fluid situation, and while that can be frustrating in terms of trying to make plans as a school, certainly as a family, working parents, we understand that. So as soon as we're able to make those decisions, we'll let you know. What is the plan for athletics and fine arts? As of yesterday, so we were changing these slides as Suzanne indicated, even this morning and yesterday. As of yesterday, our fall sports, we've learned, may not begin until September 8th. So that is the plan as of now. More information will be coming to you from our athletic department. Our fine arts, some of our fine arts classes and extracurriculars, band, choir, some of those other fine art classes will most likely meet outside under a covered area. As Suzanne indicated, these are very important activities and classes for our students in the high school. So we are certainly making accommodations for those to be included in the school day. Another question, if school goes completely online, how will Shelton provide the students with the needed social interactions for their age group? Absolutely, this is an area of importance to all of us. I know it is to your students as well. In the high school, we're working on a number of things, and I'll list them quickly. Student organizations, they'll continue to meet virtually. We, as you know, have a number of student clubs and organizations. Our faculty sponsors are prepared to continue those clubs virtually. All of our freshman students and all of our transfer students are brand new to Shelton, and the high school students will have an upper class mentor as they have in the past. And so we'll be continuing that program even if we are virtual. Advisors, they'll also provide additional support and study skills help as we're continuing this hybrid model potentially as we're moving through the COVID situation. And the next slide, we will also be having a virtual club fair. We normally host an in-person club fair in the Commons, but this year, of course, it will be virtual. And this opportunity will allow our students, as well as our current club members and sponsors, to really advertise what we offer in the high school so that your student will have a chance to see what's available. But then we'll also be carrying it a little further and personally inviting certain groups and certain kids to attend particular clubs so that they feel that there's a personal connection as well. We'll also be, because of our charger times in our AB schedule, will also allow for a little bit more smaller group support. We will also continue our weekly broadcast journalism video announcements, as well as new student virtual lunches so that they can get acclimated to the Shelton environment. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, our new guidance counselor, Shelley Gloina, will be joining and is really already working and looking forward to supporting our students as well as our parents in this whole process. So we're certainly trying to cover as many things as we can. Again, I did want to say that you will be getting a survey August 3rd, and certainly we want you to provide your input there and make sure that we know exactly what you're wanting for the fall for your particular student. All of us, of course, are concerned about safety. That is our top priority, and so we appreciate knowing exactly what we'll be planning. And one last thing before I turn it back over to Suzanne Still. We wanted to say thank you. This is from an entire administration in the upper school, as well as our faculty and staff. All of us want to thank you for sharing your child with us. We want to thank you for trusting us with your student. Your students are invaluable to us. We are immensely grateful for your partnership. We're immensely grateful for your continued communication and support of us as a school. And without you and your student as a team member, all of this would not be possible. So thank you for hearing my portion and for supporting us as we move forward. We're looking forward to the start of 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. We are definitely ready to see our students. We miss our high school students so much, their interaction and just having fun together. So we can't wait, that's for sure. And for you to know, parents, we're building a new campus in the middle of the pandemic. Not many people or schools can say they've done that. We couldn't do it without a team. And like Jenny said, and all of us have said, your support has meant the world to us every single day. So we appreciate you very much. We're going to even need that partnership to continue longer, especially getting through all of this. But we will get through it. There's no doubt. Medical groups are working on this. We know we're all working together as a team. We're meeting with people on a daily basis all over. So please know you're never alone. When the uncertainty is out there, it raises all of our anxiety levels, that's for sure. But if you ever have questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us because we're in this together. Many of you have already done that and it's helped us. It's helped us answer questions. It's helped us gotten the right communication done for you. So just continue to know we're all in this together and we appreciate your support more than ever. For you to know, 14 trucks appeared on our Hillcrest campus a week from last Monday. They continued for 6 days, so we are totally moved out of our Hillcrest campus. It's bittersweet. It's been home to us for so many years. We've done so much there and changed so many lives, but we have to say that we are excited to be totally moved out. You can imagine our teachers in the middle of all this were packing their rooms and getting everything ready on a campus of 250,000 square feet. We did it. We're all moved over. Now, we don't want you to see our new campus yet, but we can't wait for you to see it when it's all together because it is going to be fabulous. We will be helping generations of students with learning differences for years to come. And because of your support, we're able to do that. We can't wait to show it off to you. Many parents have asked me, is everything going to be finished? No, everything will not be finished. That was known from day one. We're having a phase 1 and a phase 2 no matter what. However, all of our phase 1 will not be finished. The virus definitely affected our construction crew. There's no doubt. At one part of the build out, we lost 100 workers to be exact. Now their contact tracing and all is much better. So we're all in and they say we will be finished to let you know. What won't be finished is our fine arts area. It will be delayed. They say the end of September. As executive director, I always go a month later because mentally I have to prepare everybody for that. So we're anticipating into September. We're planning for end of October. And then the fine arts part will be finished except for our large theater. That's in phase 2. So anyway, but Oh, it's going to be a fabulous campus. There is no doubt. Furniture's there. Our new furniture's there. Our old furniture's there. Everything's there. We're doing punch lists now as we go forward. And we have a 28-second drone picture of it to show you at the end so that we can all end on a positive note. But before we go there, Melanie is going to be our moderator to ask some questions so that we can answer the questions you have.
All right, good afternoon. I'm going to start off. This is a question for Jenny. There are some questions about charger time, and I know this is fluid and you did it to support students' emotional and social well-being, but there are questions about charger time. What is it? Will it be required? Or if they have sports, can they miss it? Things like that. Could you discuss that, Jenny?
Yes, I'm happy to discuss that. Charger time is the time in the afternoon that will be available should the entire upper school be at home. So I want to make that clear. So this particular charger time is only needed and necessary if we're at an entirely at-home event for the high school. And so the charger time, the question that I'm hearing and seeing pretty consistently is that required time? Will the students be required to attend that? As much as I'd like to give a firm answer on that right now, I don't know that I'm ready to do that. However, I can tell you that our teachers have asked, and I think this may be a good idea, our teachers have asked if they can require it for certain kids that may be struggling a little bit more, that may need a little bit more support. And so the answer is a little bit in between, to be honest. And as we move forward, I do think that will develop into something that makes a little bit more sense. Should your child be required to attend charger time, we will make sure that the teachers communicate that to you as a parent so that you're aware that a little extra support is needed and you can support your student in making sure that they're attending that charger time. There may, however, be students that don't need that charger time, and we're certainly aware of that, and they may not need it every day. So we don't want to make it mandatory across the board, but we would like the flexibility to ask and require certain students to come in the interest of support, academic support.
Right. So they would be excused if they have a practice for a sport outside of school or in school, right?
Yes, absolutely. And there are other times additionally, if the child may need the academic support but have a conflict for whatever reason, sports, doctor's appointments, anything, the teachers are available each day from 4 to 4:30. And I promise you, from working with them in the spring, they'll make themselves available if the child needs a particular time.
Perfect. And if a child needed one-on-one, the teacher could make that happen, as well as that could be small group time as well, right? In charger time.
Yes, exactly. Depending on the number of kids that may be in charger time that afternoon, the potential for one-on-one during charger time may certainly be there as well.
Okay. Another question was, what about if they have football practice in the afternoon? How would they would miss that advisor time. So how would that work?
So the advisor time that we have dedicated from 4 to 4:30 is only in the event that we are all at home in the AB schedule. And so if we're at home on the AB schedule, there should not be any 4 o'clock practices at that time. And so I would not expect there to be a conflict. If I'm incorrect and that is in the works and I'm not aware, which can be happening with as many changes that are happening daily, then we can certainly make sure that those kids that are involved in that outside practice or athletic event can meet with the advisor at another time.
And also, Melanie, I think it might be in the hybrid model for those couple of weeks about that, because since practices can start in the high school September 8th, as we speak today, parents, there may be confusion there. We will work all these details out.
Okay, and then Jenny, there's a parent, and parents, you know, we looked at all of your answers to that survey. 689 people completed that survey, and each division has read through those answers. There's a question posed about some of the classes did not meet consistently every day, and some met a lot more online than others. How will we improve that this fall?
That's a great question. And yes, as Melanie indicated, that feedback from you all was very important to us, and we've made additions and changes based on that. And so, yes, the question is, will they meet consistently? As opposed to what we did in spring, these schedules that we've posed today in terms of the AB schedule, those teachers and those students are required to attend class at the specific times on a daily basis. And so that is certainly one thing that we learned in our efforts this spring. So yes, they will be meeting at a specific time. They will be meeting on an A-B schedule. If we're all at home, they'll definitely be meeting on an A-B schedule every other day for the specified time listed, and as I've discussed and presented. So you'll have that to look at and refer to in the future. And yes, the answer is all teachers and students will be meeting for that period of time.
Okay, 2 more questions along the same line. One, will you still have honors classes with the blue and silver split?
Absolutely. The content of what we're covering and the rigor at which it's being taught will not change during either a AB schedule and or a hybrid schedule, especially as Suzanne and Chris Brindell explained, the Mevo start cameras are going to allow us, whether we're despite what schedule we're in, are going to allow us to provide quality instruction at the same level that we have been despite the circumstances.
Okay, and then when you split, I know you guys took a lot of time determining the alphabet split to minimize the numbers in classes, what would work. There's a question, how many kids are you expecting in each class with that alphabet split?
That's a great question, and I wish that I had an average as an answer to give you right now. I don't. If that question is logged, Melanie, in today's webinar, that's something that I can get back to you on. But my hope and our goal would be that we would be able to reduce the capacity in every single class. However, with the little bit of experience that we have with our master grid and how that falls, it may not be an exact mathematical split. However, it will reduce the overall capacity, and I can get that information to you.
Okay, Jenny, one more question for you. Of course, the seniors, it's a big year for them. What are you doing to try to make it as normal and let them do all the activities as possible?
That is a great question. And I can tell you from working a little bit with our seniors in the spring, all the different things that we've tried to do to make it more spirited and to help those kids celebrate and enjoy one another. We've done a whole lot of things online, virtually. I certainly hope that these schedules that we've talked about will only impact us through the 21st of September. 1, that's our goal. And 2, should that continue further, and even in the event that our seniors are starting the way that we're planning, we will certainly do things online for them. We'll have as many virtual celebrations as we can. Our parents are excited. Our senior parents are really excited about doing some of the same traditional lunches and things that we've done. And we're going to find every way to continue to provide the fun activities for our seniors and the celebrations that we have. We may have to modify them. We may have to use more space, and thank goodness we have more space. Zach Ladd, I know you're on this call. Would you want to add anything to that question?
No, I mean, I think just with the master grid, it definitely, we have the space. It'll be vary from class to class. You know, if an average class size is 10 to 12, our goal would be to have 5 or 6 in each class. Some classes that might be more, some classes that might be less. For the seniors, Mr. Matthews and I will continue to work with a senior liaison group of parents, and they're always a creative group, and I know they are this year as well. We will brainstorm with them, get creative. Hopefully, like Jenny said, September 21st, things become more back to normal, and we can continue some of those same traditions, maybe slightly different in just taking better care to socially distance. But hopefully the goal is to maintain a lot of the same traditions we have. If this went farther, then we would get creative, and we have a group of senior parents that are ready and willing to help, and we would be happy to brainstorm with them. I think we've got some ideas from this past senior class, and we will continue that into this year. So we'll do everything we can to make it special. Breaks my heart that our seniors last year and seniors this year's very important years from their lives are being affected by this. But we will do everything we can to make it special.
All right. Okay, Suzanne, there's some questions about masks. If you would clarify, can they buy their own masks? Can they wear an N95 mask? What's our requirement for that?
Yes, they can buy their own mask, and they can wear an N95 mask. Those are very good. There's no doubt. And we just ask that the masks are appropriate for school. The reason we're doing this, we will also have masks that will be sold in our corral. We're moving our corral to online as we speak today, so that you'll have that access. But we realize the comfort level for every child is different, and especially at Shelton. And so that's why we're allowing some flexibility and not requiring the same mask. We will be providing, we have a parent that's made over 1,000. She may be with us today. Thank you, Prudence Graham, very much. That's a lot of masks. And we appreciate it. We're also providing the face shields so that we knew the students would never buy one. Parents would really not buy one. So we bought it for them to see if that's more comfortable for them. But anyway, yes. So I hope I've answered the question on masks.
Yes, you did. And then if a teacher, well, first of all, we know that the kids need to see the teacher's lips. This question was asked, will teachers wear shields? And then if the teacher's wearing a shield, are the kids still protected?
Are the kids protected from the adult wearing a shield?
I can answer this one, Suzanne.
Yeah, go ahead, Eve.
There are mixed research studies. There are many research studies that say that the shields are just as protective as the masks. In some ways, they're more protective because they also protect your eyes. There are other studies that say that they are not. Again, the 6 feet distancing is going to be the critical part. But for the comfort of the teachers and for the students to be able to see the teachers' mouths, we are providing shields for every teacher and every student at Shelton. So again, the science is coming out every day. I've read lots of articles, and like I said, it's very mixed at this point. But with the distancing, the shields should provide adequate or totally good protection.
Thank you, Eve. While you're on, I'll go ahead and ask you some more questions, Eve.
Okay.
There's questions about allergies. If the doctor says the child does not have COVID, but they have allergy symptoms, do they still have to stay at home for the symptom-free period of 72 hours?
You know, those are all great questions. I can tell you I'm on many different nurse groups that are preparing for the school year to start. And this is the #1 question we have is, what do we do with kids that probably don't have COVID but might? And I can tell you, we asked that question yesterday. I meet with the Department of Health twice a week with the other private school nurses. And we asked that question again yesterday, and they are working on guidance. So I can't give you a hard and fast answer. We will be flexible, but again, please bear with us as we try to keep everyone safe. We are going to err on the side of caution. My understanding is that if you are at home and you are feeling up to it, you can attend your classes remotely, so you won't miss out on any learning time. And you know, as the school year progresses, hopefully we'll get better at figuring this all out. But right now, that's a huge question, and we're working on it. That's all I can tell you right now.
All right, thank you, Eve. And Suzanne, you may want to speak to this. This is about attendance, and if if they're asked to quarantine or have to quarantine, and what is the expectation for them to participate in online learning when they are forced to be at home?
So forced to be at home, we are going to ask them to be online to attend classes for attendance reasons. And I think Jenny spoke to this a little bit. Yes, we will definitely let you know if they're not online with us. So attendance, definitely. Attendance for quarantining and all that doesn't go against them. This year we'll be so flexible in all of the attendance because they have the opportunity to attend by online or attend in person. If they're not feeling up to it, if they're quarantining and they're really ill, the lessons in class can be recorded so that they can feel like they're a part of it whenever they feel better. And of course, we'll allow for all that. Absolutely.
All right. And this is a question we know a lot of parents have, and it's a hard question, but some families don't participate in social distancing. How will we track that or enforce that?
So at school, we will do the best possible thing that we can do at school with all of our families and all of our students. It may be a family decision. What we find is our students are much easier to work with, and they follow, and we're going to be putting it to them that they're helping us. They're helping their community, they're helping their classmates, and they're really helping their teacher. And we want them to follow the socially distanced part. Now, you all realize that we're working with 3-year-olds through 19-year-olds. We understand that these are students. We've not been in this situation before. None of us have. We also see what children are doing after school. We understand all that. But once they're in a school, they really do follow our guidelines. And so whatever you're doing at home, and we know different people have different opinions about everything that has to do with the pandemic. We totally get it. But once they're under our area and once they're in school, your children are really wonderful. And yes, we'll go through those phases of somebody not saying this, but we normally can turn them. Remember, they all got to us because they didn't want to read, they didn't want to write, they didn't want to do math. We've been able to turn them to where many of them love reading, love academics, and want to go on to pursue different professions. We're going to look at this the same way. I think we can do it working together. Can we change everyone after school? No. We cannot change everybody, what everybody's doing and with their families after school. We just, that would be the impossible. So we're trying to be transparent with you, though, that we absolutely can work with our children during the day to do the best job possible.
Okay, now there are a few questions for Chris Brendel, if you're on still, Chris. First of all, about Google. Will parents have access to their child's Google Calendar?
So this was a question that we received yesterday during middle school's town hall, and it's something that I'm going to look into. I did some preliminary research. I just have to follow through and see if it actually works. So maybe there's a way to connect your Google Calendar with your student's Google Calendar, but again, I need to test out the things that I came across before I can say definitively yes or no. In the meantime, the Google Classroom, the parents can just have their students sign in and just do, look over the shoulder if they have any questions or, want to see more details about the actual assignments. So hopefully by today, maybe tomorrow, I'll have a better answer regarding the calendars and sharing calendars more specifically though.
Okay, and is that the same answer for how they could see if they could mirror their child's Google Classroom as well?
Yeah, so that would be because Google Classroom, the way it's set up as far as a parent is concerned, is simply through either daily or weekly email notifications with just a summary of all of the activities from each class. So there's not really like a parent portal or anything like that. So if parents are wanting to see more detailed information, then they would either need to ask their students to log into Google Classroom so that they can check each class themselves, or again, possibly getting that syncing component between calendars.
Okay, would you also speak to, Chris, if teachers are teaching from home, if we're all at home, would they, what's the possibility of them recording lessons for students to be able to view it at a time that's convenient, or if in case they have an internet issue?
Yeah, so one of the great things about Google Meet and Zoom as well is the ability to record each one of those sessions. And so kind of talking through some possibilities with teachers would be making sure that they record each one of their sessions in the event that a student does happen to drop off or is just unavailable for whatever reason, and having those videos accessible to the students through Google Classroom. So they would set up like a resource section on the classwork page, if anybody's familiar with that. But it would just have a link to a Google folder that is where the videos would then be stored so that they could retrieve those. Or of course, also through the YouTube channel in the early days when we're doing these live streams and things like that.
Perfect. And then do we recommend high school students have an iPad as well as their laptop?
It is certainly not necessary. If you happen to have one laying around the house, it is great, especially with the use of a stylus, more specifically like a Logitech crayon or an Apple Pencil, simply because if there is a PDF document that a teacher assigns through Google Classroom, the students can use the iPad and annotate directly on top of that PDF. So it kind of simplifies the process of completing some assignments that may be turned in through the use of our read and write extension. There is also a PDF reader so that if they don't have an iPad, and a teacher does post a PDF, they still have the ability to complete those PDFs and things on the computer. But of course, anything that would have to be could be printed out, completed on the paper, and then you can use the camera and just snap a picture, post that to Google Classroom, or even better, install a PDF scanner app on your mobile device, and it'll actually convert that picture to a PDF, which is a little bit easier for the teacher to manage. So there's definitely flexibility. Please do not feel like you have to go out and buy an iPad. If financially you're able to, that would be great. It would make things easier for your student, but with the technology that Shelton provides, that's all you really need. The iPad is just a nice additional supplemental piece of technology.
Perfect, thank you. The rest of the questions, I want you to know that we see them, and in the interest of time, we're going to move on to the final part of our presentation, but all of your questions will be answered by someone who can answer them. There's a lot of detailed questions about the schedule, and Upper School will get back to you on those. And I want to thank all of you who've put the positive comments in there for all of us. We've been working really hard on this, so we appreciate your kind words and your support.
Thank you.
And we absolutely do. Have we said we missed you? If you didn't hear it, we missed you very much. And have we said thank you? We couldn't do it without you. Enjoy some hopeful information, hopeful pictures, and there's hope in all of this that will be on our new campus. Enjoy these pictures that Chris will share with you. There is a future. Thank you for joining us. We're excited to see you whenever we get to see you, and stay in communication with us. We will continue communicating throughout the entire summer, and we will also have more town halls too to answer more detailed information. Take care, stay healthy. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.